seconded by Mr. Henry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our most precious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this another time that we can meet, do the business of the city. And we just thank you, Lord, for all of our health and our strength, and continue to watch after and protect our safety forces as they minister to us in this city. And Lord, just be with our men and women and that's in harm's way, wherever. Protect them and protect their families. Continue to be with the ones that are best is sick, Lord, heal their bodies and bring them back to us. Go listen to us always in thy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Henry.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Morrow.
Here.
Cole. Here. Rader.
Here. Mr. President, would it excuse Mr. Heffley?
Second.
A motion and a second, excuse Mr. Heffley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, Mr. Heffley is excused. Now need approval of the minutes of March 3rd, 2014.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve minutes of March 3rd, 2014.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, minutes are approved. Election appointments, we have none. Special orders to committees, none. Brings us to unfinished business.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
I make the motion that we reconsider ordinance 10-214.
Second.
2014, excuse me.
Have a motion and a second to reconsider. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion to reconsider has been approved.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
I make a motion that we amend ordinance 10-2014, and the way it's written on your sheet here.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to amend it as printed on our agenda. Any comments or discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole. Yes. Rader.
Yes. Okay, motion, the amendment has been approved.
Mr. President,
Mr. Henry.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 10-2014 as amended.
Second.
A motion to approve it as amended. Any comments or discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole. Yes. Rader.
Yes. Okay, ordinance 10-2014 has been adopted as amended. Make it second. Okay, that's all unfinished business. Additions, communications, we have none. Visitors, now it's time for visitors to speak. If you're a visitor and like to speak, approach the podium, state your concerns, or name and address and your concerns, and usually limit visitors to about a 5-minute time span, so if you want to approach.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Megan Toich. I am with Ohio Insurance Services, and I will be very quick. I just wanted to come out and kind of explain a product that we have for different municipalities in the state of Ohio regarding the health insurance benefits. I did pass out this brochure real quick. Basically, the Ohio Public Entity Consortium was formed back in the year 2000. It is made up of 250 public entities throughout Ohio, many cities, villages, townships like yourselves. And because of the different things happening with healthcare reform, we definitely saw a need to come up with something that maybe is a little out of the box for health insurance benefits for our current market. So for that group of 250 different townships, villages, entities that we talked about, we came up with the Ohio Public Entity. It is comprised of over 3,000 members, and we are looking in the next year or two to get that closer to 5,000 or 6,000 members, excuse me. Obviously, the larger group we have, the more people involved in the group, the risk is spread among more people, it makes more sense for the health insurance benefits. If you look at page 4 and 5, there are different highlights to the plan. There are tax advantages to this program. You would be exempt from the 2.4% market share tax that is due to the healthcare reform, the Affordable Care Act. Administratively, this program runs at least 5% better than traditionally insured programs. Also, you are able to keep your benefits. We would look at a benefit match for the city. We would look at exactly what your benefits are currently today and look at a match for this healthcare cooperative. There are extended renewal periods too. This is definitely something that we're very excited about. The effective date will be July 1st, and then the first renewal date collectively will be January 1st of 2016. So potentially joining this healthcare cooperative would be based off of your benefits and your rates that you have today. Of course, if the city qualified, if you decided that you wanted to get a quote or get a formal proposal from us, then you would get the same benefits for the rates based off of today's rates. And then, of course, you would get basically, depending on your renewal, at least an 18-month rate guarantee for the health insurance benefits. We are joining a program that is over 20 years old. There's over $100 million in reserves in this program. It's a very stable program that's been around for a long time. So we're very confident that this is definitely something that will be around, for many years. It's an option for our current groups and prospective groups to really, I guess, offer more cost containment over, traditionally insured groups today. And then, of course, I feel like I just blurted a whole bunch of information out, but basically why I'm here tonight, I just want to see if the council will let us gather the information to just propose, come up with a proposal for the city. We are in agreement with the Ohio Public Entity Consortium in order to market this product for them, is that we start at the elected official level. So I realize this is probably, maybe a waste of some of your time, and I apologize for that. But this is really where we have to start in order to get the information out. And we're just kind of making our way around Ohio so that we can get word out about the product. So that's really why I'm here. But if you would, I would love to maybe have a contact person that I can just gather some information, see the advantages, the potential advantages, and see if it might even make sense for the city.
Heath Alexander's our auditor.
Okay.
He handles this kind of stuff through his office, so I would say he would be the person normally that deals with this, and then he would bring any plan usually to council or to the mayor and into the council. I don't know. But if you want to be the
I think Keith would be the appropriate contact. He and I, I think he and I could look to evaluate this and work with.
I'm going to give you my card.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll get one for you too.
Mr. President, do you mind if I just ask Megan just one or two quick questions?
Yes,
Megan, I don't know whether or not you're aware of this or not.
Sure.
The city of Heath is self-insured. How would a program like this fit with us being self-insured as opposed to maybe a smaller governmental entity that is not self-insured?
Great question. Basically, by joining this cooperative, you would be among 3,000 other members. So really the risk for just your group or just the city's overall risk is going to be much, much less. Also, with the $100 million plus in reserves that we have availability to, you would also be able to, put whatever reserves you have through your self-funded plan, you can put back into your budget. Of course, we would do some homework. We would definitely make sure this makes a lot of sense for the city. And you guys being self-funded already, you're definitely a step in the right direction that we're seeing the whole market go to. So.
And then just another quick question, and this is probably for my understanding, because I admittedly sometimes get confused in the insurance world.
Easy to do.
We have, as I said, we are self-insured. We have a company that we contract with called MedMed
Yes.
that basically administrates our coverage. And then we have an agreement with an insurance provider. And then that insurance provider may or may not change upon renewal based on the rates and they can put together for us. Where does this fit into that sphere? It doesn't sound like it's a MedBed. It almost sounds more like it's a provider. Am I thinking correctly?
It is actually through, the group is called the Jefferson Health Plan. They're the ones that have been around for over 20 years. They actually provide health insurance benefits for many different schools throughout the state. So they're the larger groups that are self-insured like yours. But our group that we are putting together, this healthcare cooperative, the OPEC-HC is what we're calling it for short, actually has considerably more lives than one of those individual entities. You would have the opportunity to pick between which premier network you want to work with. So we could use the Aetna network, United Healthcare network, or Medical Mutuals network. And then of course we are also a TPA at our office and we can help administer the benefits.
So, correct me if I'm hearing correctly, you would most kind of fit the role of a MedBed. Is that right?
We would actually be more of like a consultant or a broker advisor for you.
Okay.
And we're going to look at the group as a whole each year, every year, once we get to that January 1st, that first renewal. We'll shop the market, we'll make sure that, our group is in the right place for the right rates. We're still looking at different TPAs that we're gonna have administer our program for just our group. So that's still kind of up in the air. We're still absolutely in the works with this. We've been working on this for over the past year with our current clients now. So.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, real quick, do any other council members have any quick questions? Normally don't get you back and forth. Anything else?
That's all I have. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys.
You're welcome. All right. Any other visitors like to speak? Come on up.
Thank you, sir.
You can state your name and your address.
I'm Robert Pfeiffer, 243 Water Street. Yes, sir. Actually, it's all okay. Thank you. Did everybody get a copy? I think so. Like I said, my name's Robert Pfeiffer. 243 Water Street. That's actually new. I would like to be in Mountain City. So that's why I'm here. I know it's a long shot. I've already talked to North City Council about this. I've written a letter to the applicant, the state published. Written a letter to the dispatcher, the state published about this. And we all know the history about Heath, what became Heath, petition to be part of North way back in the 50s. The board said no because they didn't want to spend time. In my opinion, we made a mistake. I think this is a chance we can modify this, maybe not reverse it, but modify it. And I think we'd be better as one community. And it obviously can't be called Heath, it can't be called North. So it could be called Mount City. Heath could be a suburb of Mount City, North could be a suburb of Mount City. We'd be better as one. We work together, we cooperate already in some areas. And we have to take baby steps. This isn't going to happen overnight. This is going to probably take 10 years. But if both councils would submit people to the commission, I would suggest the leadership of both parties, both councils. That's 4 people. I would vote Democrat, which council is 4 people. They can work out the details of the merger. And we can save money, lower taxes, better schools, set an example for our country. Because our country is going through some hard times right now, economically speaking. We can look at the task bill, and we can see what the task bill has done. They merged with, Lime Township, and they're gonna be, the way of the future. They're bigger geographically than North and Heath put together. It's for a mile up there, sure. That's big, if you look on that, see if they get compared, North and Heath put together. And I think it would be better as one, and Mount City would be a nice name for our community. Heath would still maintain their identity as Mount City, as a suburb of Mount City, so the north maintain their identity as a suburb of Mount City. We'd be better as one, but we'd have to take small steps. And this is not gonna happen overnight, but we can look at areas where we cooperate and take baby steps and realize, yes, this could work. And I know somebody, Democratic County Commissioner, I had been on one time, really helped with a chance. And I talked to both parties actually. And I get the same response, which is probably not gonna happen. There's too much political turf involved, too many egos. Like I said, not in my backyard. I understand it. I also understand that where there's a will, there's a way. And political will is more important than somebody's will. I think we should humble ourselves and try to be better as one. Thank you.
Any other visitors? Thanks. Seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports, finance and budget, Mr. Craig.
Mr. President, Finance, tonight, with 5 legislative requests. First item, appropriate $2,000 promotional items for Heath to keep. Second item, donate to Matt Taylor to. Third item, appropriate within capital improvements $30,000 for street signs and posts. Fourth item, appropriate within capital improvements $15,000 for the replacement of the street light pole. Second item, foundation, widening and installation. Fifth item, appropriate within capital improvements $10,000 for the replacement, control and installation of Andover and 30th Street. No other new items. We had a couple items tabled. Ongoing process. Mr. Alexander, anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing I wanted to report was in light of a employee anniversary. Linda Richards is still clocking those anniversaries, albeit seems like her timesheets are showing 2 or 3 hours of pay period, but she's still been with us for 33 years. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Kim Geller, anything? Thank you.
Thank you. Public Services, Mr. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next meeting of the Public Service Committee will be next Monday, March 24th, 5:30 here at City Hall. John Geller, anything?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Public Safety, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety met Monday, March 10th at 5:33 p.m. We began with police. Under February statistics, there were 1,100 calls for service, 125 of those were offense reports, 60 arrests, 35 accidents, and 99 citations. Overtime usage for February was $11,247 with year-to-date total of $21,227. Chief Shepherd announced that he'll be retiring April 18th of 2014, and the mayor will be appointing Lieutenant Mason as the new chief of police at that time. On the legislative request, there were 2. The first was to authorize the mayor to deem the 2004 Atlas trailer, which is the Beat the Heat trailer, as surplus property, and donate the same to the Heath chapter Beat the Heat, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The second was to appropriate $2,000 from within the ODI fund, purchase stickers, child fingerprint kits, and other promotional items for the Police Beat the Heat anti-drunk driving program. Under other, the new cruisers have been ordered, and it will be 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. With that, we adjourned at 6:28 and moved on to fire. Under February statistics, there were a total of 28 fire runs, with a year-to-date total of 58. EMS runs 165, with a year-to-date total of 338. And under transports, there were 99 for the month, with a year-to-date total of 182. There were 38 medical aids given and 23 medical aids received. There are no legislative requests. Under February overtime, It was $25,154, and year-to-date total of $46,370. Under equipment, Tower 10 is out of service. It has a bad valve body, and it may take quite a while. Under personnel, Andrew Bachman will be leaving on March the 12th, and we will have a new hire, Jamie Jones. Under training, the confined space class went very well. Under old business, we're upgrading rescue equipment, also getting the exercise equipment, and then they're submitting papers to obtain 3 cardiac monitors. Under new business, the Chief talked about planning for future levies, and so it's my understanding the Chief's going to bring more information in with the county auditor to let us know what the future levies might bring in to help pay for some of the equipment that we need in the fire department. We'll be submitting a grant to get 2 new AEDs, and the server Wi-Fi has been approved in Station 1. With that, we adjourn to 6:02. Chief Shepherd, Huggins, do you have anything to add?
Just our new employee, Jamie Jones, will be starting tomorrow.
Right.
That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Lieutenant Mason, anything to add?
Nothing, sir.
Thank you. President.
Thank you. Streets and drainage, Mr. Heffler's not here tonight, so call him to do that.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met tonight at 5:30, and Bob gave us, he had 6 items on the committee report, and the first one was the legislative request for street signs. And originally they had quoted them, had purchased them for $35,000 each. For $35,000 for their amount to order, but if they get it cheaper for $30,000. So we put in a request for $30,000 for signs and posts. Number 2 item was the legislative request for replacing the street light pole. And this is the one at the corner of Parkview and Route 79. Jobson Henderson did the engineering work for this intersection, and they got the material to move it, put it back a bit, run into, banged around. But what they did, they moved it south 30 feet to keep away from the underground utilities. It was like those workers should have went. And the estimated cost is $15,000 to go through that. Number 3 item was the legislative request for controllers for the traffic lights at Andover and 30th Street. And we kicked this around a while, talked about, and Keith's going to check on and see if there's any insurance coverage for these. And the other one is at the corner of Custer, Clare, and 30th Street. And it's estimated to be about $11,000. I think it was. Yeah, it was, so we kicked it around, talked about not replacing the one there, but we're going to look at that one and the legislative request for the street signs. I'll try to take care of that, do the street signs some of the signs next year. And number 4, Bob said that we have a 450-ton total on hand now. He had ordered 350 tons and it came in. And he also gave us a rundown on the ordinance 10-2014, and that's been completed. And the other items that we talked about is that crew is fixing potholes, patching the roads, and parking lots, wherever it's needed. Did I cover everything, Bob?
Yes, you did.
Do you have anything to add?
Nothing, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And we'll call on Community Development Zoning, Mr. Henry.
Community Development Zoning is scheduled to meet at April 7th, 5:30 p.m. John, do you have anything to bring up tonight?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, David Shea, Mrs. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shea met this evening at 6:11. First item on the agenda is that we have preseason sale on pool memberships. That will be going on until April 30th and will result in a discount at all levels of memberships for the pool. So everybody get their pool membership. Second item, they're currently accepting applications to work at the pool this summer until approximately the end of March. They're trying to hire less individuals, but also need to manage that and balance it out to have enough to cover activities that all of the employees may have that they'll need time off for. Swim lessons will be advertised in the water bill along with the current rates that are available at the pool. Next item on the agenda, they're getting bids from landscaping companies to do landscaping on 79. So far, only a few interested companies. It'll probably be approximately $3,300, and you should be able to cover that out of the parks budget. Softball leagues are forming under the direction of Rob Smith. They're currently undergoing a process for leak detection at the pool, looking at the activity pools that's been losing water. They solved the problem with the baby pool using this process, and all of this will be able to be funded out of capital improvements. The skylight at the pool will be completed before the start of the season. And under other items, Councilman Kelly reported that he's in the process of updating a map that will show all of the bike paths and trails in the community and show the distances if you travel from one point to the next. Anything to add, Bob?
Nothing, thanks.
Okay, we adjourned at 6:33. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Crable.
President, the Planning Commission is scheduled to meet March 27th at 7 p.m. Mr. Groff, anything else?
Yes, we are going to have a public hearing to discuss visual signs at that time. Just to announce the public hearing.
Thank you. Mayor Jonathan, anything else?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's all the committee reports. Brings us to introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 13, 2014.
Ordinance 13, 2014, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $2,000 into the legal and AI education fund to purchase kids' fingerprint kits and promotional materials used to support the BPD anti-drunk driving program for the police department.
Ordinance 13, 2014 be held as second reading. Ordinance 14, 2014.
Ordinance 14, 2014, an ordinance waiving bids, authorizing the directing the mayor to declare a 2004 Atlas trailer as surplus and donate to Heath chapter meeting a 501.c3 nonprofit organization.
Ordinance 14, 2014 be held as second reading. Ordinances on second reading. Ordinance 12, 2014.
Ordinance 12, 2014, an ordinance approving the collective bargaining agreement with Aspen, Ohio, Council 8 and LCIO for a period commencing April 2nd, 2014, and concluding April 1st, 2017, and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute it on behalf of the city of Heath and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President.
Mr. Crable.
Motion to adopt ordinance 12, 2014.
A motion and a second. Any comments or discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Henry,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Crable.
Yes.
Ordinance 12, 2014 has been adopted. Okay, resolutions on first reading. Resolution 2014-1.
Resolution 2014-1, in the matter of adopting the updated countywide natural hazards mitigation plan, CNMHMP, for Lincoln County, Ohio.
Resolution 2014-1 will be held as second reading. There are no resolutions on second reading. Brings us to reports of city officials. Mayor Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to first mention I have a cold, so I apologize for my voice being a little raspy. I want to thank the visitors and attendants tonight. Appreciate council's vote to approve me signing the new collective bargaining agreement. We negotiated with the AFSCME bargaining unit. I want to take a second, Nick, to thank you, Amanda, and Beth for your willingness, along with Leroy, to sit down and work directly with Doug and I in negotiating on that contract, helping to save the city some money so that we didn't have to negotiate it through attorneys. And also appreciate fellow bargaining unit members and them ratifying it, so thank you. Mr. Pfeiffer, I want to thank you for being here this evening. I also want to thank you for clearly putting a considerable amount of thought into the concept that you outlined for us. I commend you for being willing to put the time and attention and effort that it takes to identify the fact that things can always be improved upon, and to take interest in trying to see the area in which you live be improved upon. I think you should be commended for that. I want to make sure that you understand it is my opinion that the cities of Newark and Heath right now do work pretty well together. I have what I believe to be a cordial and strong relationship with Mayor Hall, as I do with other local government leaders throughout Licking County. I would probably venture to guess, and there are other people in this room who have been residents of Heath longer than myself. I would venture to guess that the relationship between the city government of Heath and the city government of Newark has probably never been took office a little more than 4 years ago. It was pretty quickly explained to me why the artillery piece in front of our municipal building points in the direction in which it does. But in my mind, much of that is in the past, and I hope that this city government will continue to find ways to work with and cooperate with the city of Newark where it's in the best interests of both municipalities. At this time, at face value, having not given anywhere near the consideration to the topic that you have, I don't see that the advantages to Heath in joining in a merger as you've outlined outweigh the potential disadvantages for what is currently the city of Heath. I'll just point out a couple of them that came to my mind after just short thought. First of all, you had mentioned some in your letter that you had submitted to the advocate. You had mentioned that the former, I guess, county commissioner that you had spoken with talked about that there's too many egos and political turf. I don't see that around this table. To be completely honest with you, I don't see that at all. This governmental body works extremely well together in a nonpartisan fashion. Our elections for local government officials are nonpartisan elections. Nobody runs as a Democrat, or as a Republican, or as a Libertarian, or as anything. They run as themselves. And when we work together to try to solve the problems and the challenges that this city faces, we do it as one. We do it as individuals, but we do it as one body. And I cannot think of one problem, issue, opportunity, ordinance where any political affiliations of anybody in elected office at Heath has come in the slightest bit of play, at least not while I've been mayor. And I hope that that continues for a very, very long time. That has not always been the case in the city of Newark. As a matter of fact, recently, in the past couple of years, the cities of Heath and Newark both had charter review commissions operating at the same time. And I was invited by a couple of members of Newark's charter review commission to come and talk to them about the city of Heath having nonpartisan elections. How did that come about, and why is it still today? And what my views were on Heath having nonpartisan elections relative to the city of Newark having partisan elections. And I shared with them my opinion, much as I just shared with you, my belief that, particularly at the local government level, there is no issue, there is no challenge, there is no problem that we face that has anything to do with political partisanship at all. And that, in my opinion, that whole concept could go away by implementing nonpartisan elections in the city of Newark. I believe the Charter Review Commission voted on whether or not to put that issue before the voters of Newark on the ballot. I believe the Charter Review Commission voted 3-2 against putting that issue before the voters. And I believe that those votes went down partisan lines. So there would be, I think, a big issue with the way this city has clearly decided it feels is best to govern, and how the city of Newark has decided that it feels is the best way to govern relative to partisanship in its local government. You had mentioned potential benefits to schools. School districts probably would not be impacted at all if there was a merger between two cities. And I say that from the perspective of knowing that if the city of Heath annexes property that is currently in a township, and that property is not within the Heath city school limit boundaries, the fact that that property has been annexed into Heath does not then change that property from its current school system into the city of Heath's school system. School system boundaries, I believe, are handled entirely separate. And I would assume that that concept would still apply should what you outlined be implemented. Also, relatively speaking, Newark is a much older city than the city of Heath. There are some advantages to that, particularly when it comes to historic landmarks and areas of significance in the city. But there are a lot of disadvantages that come with that too. There are disadvantages to being an older city that right now the city of Heath does not have to deal with because we are a younger city. I think particularly of infrastructure, community development planning are two areas that come to my mind right away, where Heath perhaps has a much different situation than the city of Newark. And I'm not sure that it would be advantageous for what is now the city of Heath to merge with what is now the city of Newark, because many of those same problems then would exist, but now would be dealt with by a larger area. Some of that area that doesn't have anywhere near that problem apply. Beyond some of those reasons, Mr. Pfeiffer, if you talk to a number of the residents of Heath, they'll tell you that they take a lot of pride in living in the city of Heath. Some of the residents of Heath still live here and experienced what you outlined took place in the 50s and 60s, and you're fairly accurate in your description. The conciseness of it, definitely what you say is accurate. But even residents who didn't live here at that time, I believe a lot of residents of Heath take a lot of pride in living in the city of Heath for various reasons. It could be something as simple as the way that our road crews handle ice and snow removal on our streets during the winter. It could be reasons even rooted much deeper than that. That would be a lot to ask the residents of Heath to give up that pride, because with a merger, it would be different. It would not be Heath, although you can still call the territory a suburb. It's not the same. And I think that there'd be a lot of residents of Heath that would really find that difficult to swallow, including, I'm sure, some before you here on this panel. I want to make sure.
That's what I'm voting for, sir.
I'm sorry, what's
I'm
that?
just saying that would be a vote.
Sure. I want to make sure you understand, Mr. Pfeiffer, in my comments here, that I don't mean this to be taken as me somehow downing the city of Newark. Newark is a fine city. It's the county seat of Licking County, the biggest city in Licking County. And it's good that the city of Newark be strong. A strong county seat, in my opinion, is synonymous with the idea that a rising tide lifts all ships. So, I don't mean this to denigrate the city of Newark in any way. That's not my intention. I think my intention, rather, is to up the city of Heath and make sure that you understand my viewpoint, in that what we have here in this city, I believe, is something that's very special, that's working very well, that continues to progress and to grow and to try to improve. And again, I want to commend you on taking the time to give very thoughtful consideration to this topic. At this time, I just don't happen to agree with your point of view as to what a better conclusion would be.
Understood.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And being a field artillery retired Army guy, I appreciate the fact that the cannon's not loaded. Any other comments, Mayor?
That's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Alderman Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Alderman Morse.
I have no before you go ahead.
So you sit down here with Mr. Morrow. Thank you. Nick, you and your committee, we commended for a nice job, and Mayor, you and Mr. Heflin, I've got that one more about. Look forward to the next two. Interesting idea, Mr. Pepper. Thank you. And I guess to everybody else, happy St. Patrick's Day. Today? Is that today? Yeah, it's almost over.
Mr. Johnson.
I'm sure.
Oh!
Thank you.
Mrs. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to welcome everyone as well, and I kind of want to echo Mr. Morrow's sentiments and say thanks to the mayor and to Doug Heffley for all their efforts with collective bargaining, and to Nick and the committee for coming to terms with them, and I think it was a pretty smooth process, so thank all of you for that. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Henry.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody here, and all for me too, appreciate it. And I'd like to invite anyone up here to our church this coming Saturday night for a wild game dinner from 6 to 9 p.m. It's $10 per ticket, or you buy 2 for $15. And if you would like to go, call 522-5245. When it starts talking, just dial 0. You'll get Carline, and she can hook you up. She'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They're out of the office on Friday. If you wish to prepare a dish with wild game, you could win a nice prize. And yours is picked as the best. And also, the 2 top prizes given away is a new pump shotgun or a new muzzle loader. There's a lot of other fishing and hunting equipment not entered in. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Craig?
Welcome visitors. Great job, Nick. You only wear that shirt one time a year, right?
My wife ordered it online. She got it. She goes, you can wear that shirt today if you want.
Okay, good enough. Thanks.
Then anything today? Let's see. Others, we're going to start with Bob Geller tonight because on Wednesday, March the 26th, he's having a birthday. So we'll start with Bob down there.
I just share that birthday with my twin brother who happens to sit up there. That's all I have. If you can figure who that person is.
Kim Geller.
Nothing, thank you.
Down Geller.
I'd like to invite Mr. Pfeiffer to become a citizen of Heath. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
Other than that, I have nothing. John Groff.
Nothing, thank you.
Future Chief Mason.
Nothing, sir.
Chief Huggins.
Nothing, thank you, Tim.
Okay. I just want to say, yes, the mayor also shares a birthday with Bob on March the 26th. So, we don't have a meeting before then, so happy birthday then. Thank you. And again, I did lose a bat. My wife did order this online, so I wore it today. I give credit. The other thing I want to mention, actually, under new business, we're going to form I'm going to call it the Administrative Code Committee. So we look at the Administrative Code, and it's going to be myself, Mr. Crable, and Mrs. Cole is going to be the members of that committee. And our first meeting will be after the public service meeting on March the 24th. We'll just get together then, and then we'll probably schedule another one for the next public service meeting after it, the next month, and we'll see where we go from there. But we'll do the next two, after the next 2 public service meetings, which will be the 4th Monday of this next 2 months, or this month, March and April. So I have for new business. Any other new business anybody have? Seeing none? Reading of bids? Not to read. Miscellaneous, there's none. Adjournment?
Motion adjourned.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, none. We are adjourned. Thanks for coming.
See ya.